Hello, brothers and sisters of the land. Welcome to my page. Comments and psychology. Keep it down and 8 grand in 10 minutes. If it goes over 10 minutes, that means something very important. But everything I say is fucking important. Thank you very much, peoples, of listening, of time and space, dimension, and vortices, and turquoises, and turtles, and unicorns, and shapeshifters, and bats, elephants that can fly in other dimensions, pixies, fairies. Thank you for coming to my page. I try to get down to the nitty-gritty. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you put it down below, and I will talk about it with common sense, and I will try to narrow it down. A little bit about me: I'm kind of a sadistic individual who's twisted in a way, but makes a lot of sense. Kind of like a psychopathic intellectual, you want to call it. That's my term. Don't copy off my shit now. You know, I'm also a philosopher and teacher and father. And of course, I make more sense than most people on the YouTube. I do my analyticals and my algorithms. Yes, I do. But I'm trying to keep it down. I don't want to be monotone. I'm not monotone. I'm not monotone. Now, okay, this video is going to be about the consequences of, this video is going to be about the multiple different subjects, but I don't know what the title is. But I'm going to put like 3 different topics in this video, because racism seems to be a big issue in America. And in my history, in my past, I've been offended by all sorts of races, okay, through just the color of my skin, okay, just by not talking, I've been offended, okay. You know how you walk around some people and you can tell when people don't like you just because the way you look or what you wear, and there's always a little bias there. Maybe it's not bias. It could just be simply racism. But as I said before in the past, I've been offended by white people. I've been offended by the niggers and shit crackers and even hillbillies. Okay, yes, racism does exist. Yes, it does. What I have to say to you about those black intellectuals who seem to be coons, I'm trying to protect their asses, because they don't have enough sympathy to understand what happened to the Negro in the past. They're trying to use dark psychology, as I said before in the past, so he can get over this hump, okay? Okay, the hump is basically keep bringing things up. It happened to me. Racism happened to me. Yes, it has, okay? And of course, racism also has happened to me with the Negro too, okay? But as I said before, racism is a white face, okay? There were niggas in the fucking school calling me Oreo and shit, and I was like trying to talk to them and try to make fun of them and stuff like that, back and forth. But at least I get along. I get along with everybody. But anyway, what this video is going to be about is going to be about multiple subjects, okay? The first thing is going to be about the consequences of kneeling. Okay, like I said before, I try to get to the point, but if I'm talking about most of the subjects, I'll make it even longer, because some people ask me the question, what do you think about Patrick's, okay, because I'm not going to pronounce his name correctly, the football player who kneeled. And it also has happened in the past. I told you before, history repeats itself, okay? But before I tell you what's the consequences of America, because I'm pretty sure I did make that video, I'm going to tell you a little bit of history about, I'm going to go way back to Egyptian times. Now, I'm going to tell you, I read a story, okay, in the book, that the Egyptians created the white man. There's a couple of different creation stories. I think people should go back to creation stories, so they could understand the psychology of this world. It's a beautiful nightmare in which its history repeats itself, right? History does repeat itself. Blacks had whites in slavery. Whites had blacks in slavery. Whites had whites in slavery. Whites have Asians in slavery. Asians have whites in slavery. This is all documented through the history of mankind. Okay? And then on top of that, you may be born not always black, but you could be partially white. We got genetics in play. This is why I'm against Pan-Africanism, okay? It's a partially because of a mixed bag of emotions, what I feel, and which makes me kind of a sadist in a way. It's kind of like twisted, but I'm not taking sides. To me, I like the chaos. Now, since I like the chaos, I like to see shit happen, okay? When I was in, like, for example, when I was in Brooklyn, New York, I love when niggas get shot up, because that's a pattern that's been going on since the 80s, dog. Cops been killing people, niggas always since back then, okay? But please understand the story of this creation story. I'm gonna tell you this one creation story. Way back in Egyptian times, Set, Horus, and Nefertiti, and all them weird names, okay, which is not modern these days. The Egyptians, it is said that I read somewhere that the Egyptians created the white man. They created the Egyptian gods created the white man. And then also the Egyptian gods created blacks. Okay, blacks were basically for pleasure purposes. They were given the hierarchy of the leaders of the world, the most fastest multiplying race in the world. Okay, you can add your things to it. They were created from dirt, whatever, blase, blase, blase. But the Egyptian gods, they created these white people from the mountains, okay? And it's snow and other different types of... I also have a creation story from the, we call it, the Neberu Anunnakis, okay? Zacharias Engine, okay? I learned it from Zacharias Engine and stuff. And also, I read Chariot of the Gods and stuff like that. You have to understand. You have to read all sorts of books to understand and pinpoint why racism is just a repeating cycle of bullshit that you're just wasting your time, okay? I said before, racism did happen to me, but understanding the Egyptian story, just this one story, you understand that no one has the true truth. No one. And as a matter of fact, to make it 10 times more evident, you weren't there, okay? Okay, you weren't there, okay? No matter what books you read, it's just stories created to make your mind a little bit more open-minded. The Egyptian gods created the white man because they wanted more the slave workers. They are the master slave thinkers. As you should already know, stereotypically, white men do like to think a little bit more because that was how they was born. The RH factor, negative factor. You won't go into the details if you want. They have different skin types. Sulfur. They were created by different ways. Okay. And as a matter of fact, I saw a painting on the wall that there was a whole bunch of black servants or slaves, or maybe they were slaves. I don't know. They were people of kingship, of queenships. I don't care what you want to call them. Were bowing to a white man, and the white man was in the middle. And as a matter of fact, in the Bible, it says that Esau, okay, the Edomites are a cursed people. Okay, you see, they plagiarize old stories to flip your minds, to fuck your mind straight up. Always from paganism all the way back. Okay, as I said, you shouldn't believe in anything unless you're just focused on your own self as a god. Your gnosis is open. You know why you're here. You have a mission. Okay, this world is a terrible, beautiful, nightmarish world. So these Egyptian gods created the cracker. Okay, and the cracker eventually got together and said, hey, you know how the skin is not really good in the sun. Okay, well, blacks melanated. Okay, people, these Pan-Africans love the talk about melanated colors and skins. I say everybody's not Negro. Even a white person is not a truly cracker. It's not a true cracker. I keep telling people this. I say, use common sense, dog. You can't do that. You have to change that outcome. I know my facial features look Negro. Even Asian people are given the term Negro by the white man, okay? And they might even get hired. Chinese people who have their own restaurants don't even hire any other colors. They only hire their own, you see? Because they're so fixated on their own external appearances, okay? They're fixated on racism just of their own cultural background and differences. So let me get back to the story. So Egyptian gods, okay, created genetically a white man. And the Bible talks about the Esau, the red man, whatever. You want to call him, well, you can name it whatever you fucking want. And they became slave thinkers. They didn't get much sun because they was indoors all the time. Mathematics, doing the calculus and all that other bullshit. Whatever. You can call them liar-skinned men. You can call them pale-skinned. You can call them the devil man. You can call them the snowman. I don't give a fuck what you call them. And what happens is that they got together. These crackers got together. I'm telling you this creation story so you can blow your fucking mind. And said, oh, fuck this. The Egyptian gods eventually left, okay? Because I'm pretty sure they ain't gonna go against no fucking gods. The gods was fighting against each other, okay? Some story, a fascinating fucking story, okay? And then all of a sudden, as they left, or they killed each other off, or whatever, because I don't remember everything. I'm 44 years old, 44 years old this year. Okay? Please understand, I have more knowledge than you. Yes. And if I read this story, and I told you about the story, you probably will find this book or information somewhere. It's not fantasy. Everything is fantasy. Okay? You want to believe it is fantasy? It's just something to go by, okay? Because everything that seems like a fantasy can have some facts to them and some truth to them. Okay? So you can't close your mind if you're intellectual. You can't do that, okay? All right? You have to be a romanticized intellectualism. You have to do that. You can't just say, oh, this is only one way. Mathematics is the only way. No, it's not. That's not true. Okay, so these Egyptian gods created this white man. I'm talking 10 minutes on it. So then they got together and they lived in the mountains. That's why their blood is so fucking hot. They can live in the fucking mountains in the cold. Okay? If you watch the Game of Thrones, you see everything is about the North. Okay, everything is fucking about the North. Everything is about the North. Oh my goodness! And as you understand this, as they had these whites in slavery, in captivity. Okay, whites in captivity. They said, we are tired of this shit. They put their minds together. So now bring it to the modern day era now. Now we got back and forth. The Vikings and the fucking Orientals, Genghis Khans and shit like that, and the warmongers and shit, Alexander the Great. Okay, you have to understand that there's slavery trade and poor white trash that's involved. White power. Now the next subject is, okay, since you got that origin out of the way now, since blacks did have whites in slavery and whites did have blacks in slavery, okay, and this is just recent, okay, and whites did have whites in slavery. Please understand the consequences of focusing on too much. It's just a recurring cycle of history repeating itself. It's just a waste of energy and time. So what do you do with your time? But let me continue on here. White power. Think about it. As those kneeling fools, okay, kneeling, Patrick or whatever, kneels down, the only thing that's doing is causing the capitalists to think, we are the highest hierarchy here. Zionists, Jewish people, liberal, you want to call them, I don't give a fuck. They are the highest capitalists in the world. They can go anywhere with their money. And they see a bunch of Negroes, ignorant ass Negroes, doing that shit, and they get offended enough, they could shut down the NFL. What are you going to do now? Okay, they own NFL. So that's why you have to respect the flag regardless of the history, because you have to make an impact within yourself first before you can help anybody else. Oh, whoa, you can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. The only thing you can do is make a message. Like, look at Umar Johnson and Tommy Sotomayor and Tariq Nasheed. They trying to put a message out there. But you got to understand that history repeats itself. But no matter how much slavery they talk about, they can't free nobody. Nobody's free. This is a limbo-like world we're living in. Now, since I'm on the dark side, I'm not for the light. Let's ask a Pan-African person, okay? Do you believe that all white crackers are evil? Okay, if they say, yeah, they're racist, they're black racists. But the racism comes from all sorts of colors, but it starts off with a white face. I believe so. Because it seems like all of the origin story starts from where either the white man was suppressed or they were genetically bioengineered or created by some alien race. Okay, they don't belong here. Actually, they don't belong anywhere because they're the crossbreed of some other races and shit. So that's another subject. You can do your research on that shit. Okay, so the consequences is that you got Kilpatrick kneeling, you got all these Negroes kneeling, but they're not using their brains. Okay, why don't they work together with the white man for a time being to dominate them? Okay, what if you can't beat them, you join them, right? You ever heard of that? Okay, but the thing is that it's not about beating them. This is the mentality that most Pan-Africans think, and this is the problem that most people think. When I'm at a job, you look at me as a man. You don't look at me because of what I have. This is my mustache is a little too long. As long as I look professional, everything is fine. Okay, as long as you treat me with respect, everything is fine. But psychologically, people who have been suppressed for so long usually can pick up psychically if a person is fucking racist. It could be a Pakistani, it could be a Chinese, and I told you before, white people to lighter skin color people, mulatto people are very jealous, and they can be fucked up in the mind. Okay, because of a fucking color. Because they ain't that color. It's a fucking fact, motherfucker. I can tell you the proof. Okay, I did my research on some crackers and shit. I filled out false applications just to test my theory, and I was proved right. Okay, all right. Okay, now let me continue on. Okay, when the capitalists control everything in this fucking world, capitalists. And remember, Abraham Lincoln started the ball rolling. They don't give a fuck about no blacks. Okay, and I was reading something on the YouTube, but I was like, yo, come on. I was reading something on the Facebook. I was like, come on now. You got a race that's superior. They have a God complex with capitalism. They don't want to be fighting with no other races that think they're more beautiful than they are. So they use capitalism, okay? You see how unattractive crackers are? Yeah, crackers are fucking unattractive to a degree. Niggas are fucking unattractive too if they don't really put themselves together, but they're funnier than you, and your crackers create technology. You blow shit up, right? So let's talk about the facts. So in order for us to get along, we have to look at the pros and the cons of each race. How do you do it? But what I read in the Mahabharata and the Hinduism book system, they said that there was multiple races that were living with humans and everybody else. But the humans got a little pride and shit. Read about that shit when with the Vishnu. Okay, what do you call it? Krishna, the Christian Vishnu. Yeah, the god Vishnu, who comes in as many forms as Krishna, Shiva, came down and destroyed the planet because humans and the other species of races was fucking delusional with pride, and they attacked first. That's why Shiva destroyed the fucking planet. Okay. Mahabharata, motherfucker. Go ahead. Okay, you could read the Ramanaya records or whatever. I get confused sometimes, but I try to get to the point about it. I just say, yo, I can't believe they struck first. How can a human strike first? Because they were fearful that this god was going to take over. Okay, and that's a problem right there. The alien Greys already offered free energy and shit to the white masters and shit who was already in power and shit to free us from our bondage. Stephen Greer is talking about how we should submit, okay, but the white man said we're not letting go of our nuclear weapons. That's why we all have messed up psyches, because of history repeats itself. So this video is going to be about multiple things: capitalist control, consequences of kneeling, okay, white power. I'm going to talk about black power. Now, black power, black power, white power, okay, you can go any kind of fucking way. You're here for a fucking mission. Okay, and if you're just stuck on this delusional thing, this rant that where you're a minority, but you're actually a god. The white man is God, black man is God, the black woman is God. This fucking wall is a motherfucking god. It's your fucking psyche, man. You shouldn't be worrying about that shit in life. You should be focused on yourself so you can help others. I'm 200% sure I help more people than most of y'all motherfuckers out there, and I'm telling you, that's fucking sad. Why would I say some shit like that when I help more people? I know I help more people than more people help me. I'm a fucking Jesus. That's sad, man. That's really sad. So when you got all these people who watch Joel Osteen, Joyce Myers, and stuff like that, and they're sitting there, they're the ones who gonna get the karma because they're confused. They don't understand where to put their donations or money is at. They'd rather give it to one man rather than multiple people who actually need it. Okay? They don't care about you. Just like Michael Jackson said, they don't really care about us. Now, let's just give it some time until these aliens come down and destroy the fuck out of them crackers. I'm not involved. Louis Master Farrakhan said, don't worry about it. We are in captivity. We already suffered. So the cycle repeats. Whenever the world becomes too evil, then they shall come. Okay? So that's why the cracker had to take a mental note about that. So they gotta watch how they drop them bombs and shit, and how they do things to the lower minorities, because they have to change. They know they have a subconscious in the back of their head. And as I teach a whole lot of crackers and Caucasoid people about the history of the Negro, I'm not fully Negro. Okay, and it gets confusing as fuck. So I was like, wait a minute. I said, I got this amount of German in my blood, this amount of Indian, this amount of fucking Afro in me, okay. And people will consider me a coon when I'm just talking the truth. Can we all just get along, motherfucker? Okay. Now, what else is there to say about it? There's consequences to everything. Me, I'm in the midst of a sadist, okay. I'm sadistic as fuck. I like chaos. From chaos comes peace. Did you know that? Okay, and when I see a nigga get killed, I said he must have got killed for some motherfucking reason. Just like if I would get killed, I wouldn't just think one-sided. I'd be like, hey, something must have happened to me. What I do in my past life? Because since I'm thinking like Jesus got killed for thinking like himself. He said he made a mistake. But then on top of that, there's another story saying he never died on the cross. So you can't be taking things. You got to take things with a grain of rice, and then you have to take it without a grain of rice. So you got to think about the paradox that you're living in this fucking life, in society, motherfucker. Right? See, I put everything in a nutshell for you to understand that there are consequences to everything. Even silence. They say silence is golden or silence is platinum. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, everything means something. You can do nothing and it can have an effect. Okay, you can say something and it can have an effect. It doesn't matter. Okay, so peace and love to you, brothers and sisters. I keep it down to 20 minutes. I don't know what I'm gonna name this one, but I'm gonna name it something that's really interesting. Black power, white power. What kind of power? If you be subservient enough, then things will automatically go your way. But I don't agree with slavery and stuff. But things will change because they tried to find a new way. Them crackers tried to find a new way of controlling everyone like a slave. Okay, but you have to understand there's other races out there, and as the other races are fucking being dominated, that's called karma and that's called energy. And I think the cracker already know about that energy and shit, so they try to make up for some of the things that they do. Some of them even kneel and kiss boots and shit. And I say you shouldn't do that because you didn't do it, okay? I make a lot of controversial videos. But peace and love to you, brothers and sisters of Light and Dark. I don't know what I'm going to name this. And you have a nice fucking day. If you got any questions, comments, or insults, you put it down below. And you have a nice fucking day. Peace.